In November 2024, I had a really clear premonition that I was going to get cancer for the second time. I wasn't actively channeling or meditating when I received the download. It just dropped in out of nowhere. My name is Yasmin Ibrahim, and I'm a born psychic medium. I work with energy, with people, places, situations, but mostly with souls. Your soul and your soul's plan. That connection has always been there for me, but it still catches me off guard when it lands something as big as this. So in this premonition, I clearly received an image of a womb. Part of it was missing, like it'd been removed, but everything else was intact. I also heard very clearly, you're going to get cancer and you'll be just fine. Bit of a shock. But I remember freezing. My body went really still, and my mind was trying to catch up with what I'd just seen and heard. And to be honest, a part of me didn't want it to be true. I'd been healthy for quite a long time after healing from cancer the first time 13 years prior. That first journey was deeply holistic. I cleaned up my life and diet and started healing, and one of the tumors disappeared and the other one reduced by half. I had surgery to remove the tumor and declined further treatment, and instead went to watch and wait, which is where the oncology team observes you with regular check ins. I'd rebuilt my health, and I honestly felt like I'd moved past that chapter. So, hearing this message, this download again, was a shock, and a part of me, well, wasn't entirely surprised. For about 14 months prior to the download, I'd been doing a lot of work on clearing my womb, releasing male ancestral energy, working through the energy of violation passed through the female line. My womb had been through a lot. I went through years of abuse in my childhood where boundaries were crossed and my voice was quietened, and my body has carried that for decades, even with years of healing. So, in a strange way, when I received the message and that image, something felt like it was coming full circle. Not a punishment, but completion of a cycle. Almost like the final clearing, the last pieces of my trauma being ushered out of my body. When I received the download, I made a very human choice and parked it, telling myself that I didn't want to know all the details right now because they weren't helpful, and deciding to leave it with God. I carried on with my life, tying up loose ends, and with everything that was draining my energy. I left a company I was working with, stopped talking to some of my family, and I let go of a large amount of money that was due but was causing issues in actually obtaining it, creating more energy leakages. On a day-to-day basis, I'll check in with myself, journaling to ask what I needed, and applied it. I wasn't sure how I was going to be supported during this time, but I was held so well and was even able to pay for some of my treatment privately. None of this felt dramatic in the moment. It just felt like I was tidying up my life and creating some stability for the future. My relationship with my fiance went through a really tough patch prior to that. I was already under pressure as my hyper independence battled with my partner's desire to help and support me. There was a lot happening, and we didn't know how to handle it. So he moved out in January 2025, and I'll talk about this in another video. And that space, when he moved out, was painful but necessary. We both needed to take a step back and reassess who we were to each other. And after 5 months, he moved back in. We'd both done a lot of work around our roles in the relationship and what really mattered. Now we're in a really beautiful place. He cocoons me with love, and I feel genuinely held in a way that I didn't before. And I'm so grateful we got here because his help has been incredible during this time. So around the same time, my body started asking for different things. I'd been doing like a bodybuilding style workout, and I'd been doing that for years, and my muscles were tight and bunched up. My body was tense, almost like it was armoring, ready for battle. Something inside me knew that that had to change. So I shifted back to functional bodyweight training that felt fluid and allowed my nervous system to calm down rather than be bunched up, bracing for impact. And that one change made a huge difference. I felt more open, and that feeling of being braced as if you're holding on to something lessened. I cleaned up my diet again by going back to basics. So for me, as a blood type O negative, paleo and keto works really well. And that led to a release of 10 kgs of weight before I went into conventional treatment. This and my healing practices supported my journey, calmed my nervous system, and I continued with spiritual rituals that helped me feel grounded and connected. During the summer of 2025, I heard myself say to my partner, I'm going to slow down this summer. That's not something I usually say because July and August has naturally been slower, but the work has always been buoyant and abundant. Money still came in, the clients were still showing up, and everything was ticking along. So it didn't make sense to me just yet. And then I remember saying, I'm going to take September out. I'm not going to work. Now, I never take September out. It's just something that came out of my mouth instinctively, as though I'd given my intuition a clear voice. That happens to me quite a lot. The channel speaks through me, and I only understand why later. Because often I don't challenge what feels true, I allow it to be, and then it shows itself. At the time, it sounded random, but now it makes perfect sense. So, on the 26th of August, I was diagnosed with stage 3 cervical cancer. That diagnosis pulled straight into September, full of tests, appointments, hospital visits, and that empty month had casually claimed the container for this whole process. There's a lot to say about the diagnosis journey itself, the words specialists use, the way they talk to you about your womb and cervix, the options you're given, and the ones that you are not told about. There's a whole education piece there that many women never get. And I want to talk about that in more depth at some point, especially if you're worried about a diagnosis you might have received. Everyone deserves to receive more information than you normally are offered in a regular appointment. So through this process, people have often asked, how am I feeling? How am I doing? And the first time I had cancer, my main feeling was fear. I was constantly thinking, am I going to live? Am I going to be all right? Will I need chemo? My nervous system was in pieces. I was trying to be strong while standing on really shaky ground, mainly because I was dealing with this all alone. This time, the emotion felt different. I had my moments. I cried. I felt scared at times. I'm human after all. Yet the biggest emotion I felt was an overwhelming wave of love and support. The way people have shown up for me has taken my breath away. Messages, prayers, voice notes, practical help, financial support. It's been so much, and I'm not used to being the one on the receiving end like that. I'm usually the person holding space for others, supporting them through their healing, tuning into their energy. This time, the love just arrived, and mostly unexpectedly. People have been so generous. It's softened me in so many ways I didn't know I needed. So when I say I felt okay about the situation I found myself in, I wasn't ignoring the reality of cancer, more like I experienced what it felt like to be energetically and physically held. I felt like my body, my soul, and God were working together to complete something that I began a long time ago. I'm sharing this journey for several reasons. There's the medical side, for example, what the oncologist was saying, what I could expect. Oh, and even though I saw a part of my womb missing, everything is intact right now post-treatment, and I put that down to the timing of the action I took. Then there's the spiritual side, the weight of the premonition, the ancestral healing, what the womb represented for me. And finally, there's the human side, how this was going to affect my partner, my daughter, even my clients, which I found out later on, it affected them deeply. Having come out the other side of conventional and holistic treatment, I see cancer as a spiritual act of resetting. For me, being a capable and resilient person it was like a hard reset, ensuring that I slowed down, simplified my life further, and bringing more joy and creativity into my life. And not being able to work has allowed me to receive more than I ever have. It tested my ability to surrender, allow, and trust the process. It's deepened my relationships, and my mum's words are circled back, which were be of service without the expectation that you need something in return. Prior to this, I had done this for years. I'd been of service quietly. I didn't speak publicly about the late night phone calls when someone felt like ending their life, or helping the single mum struggling with disease and young kids across the pond, or the woman who didn't have enough money for groceries. I just helped where I felt called. And this isn't me showing off, but showing you that when you're a person of service without expectation, it comes right the way back 100-fold. The way these people helped me was incredible, and I'm still in awe. There will always be times when you will hear the whispers of your soul giving you information, direction, words of wisdom, and warnings, and you'll want to dismiss it because it might feel illogical. My invitation to you is don't override it. Listen loudly and decide what to do with it once it lands. I did, and it allowed me to prepare for what was coming, and that preparation helped me and my people get through this challenge easily. If you're watching this and you feel like something's off in your body, I want you to trust yourself. You're not overreacting. Your body's talking to you. Listen to that whisper, get checked out, push for answers, ask more questions until you have the information you need to make informed decisions about your health. Thank you for being here and listening to my story. This journey isn't about me, it's about showing what becomes possible when we meet really hard things honestly with spirit and community. I'll be sharing more about my journey and the redirection it's provided me with. So if you have any questions, please do comment below, and don't forget to share this with someone who might need this right now. Most of all, please like and subscribe. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.